Stephen, AI chipmaker Groq is looking to Samsung's Foundry for the next generation of their tensor processors. The company is going to use Samsung's advanced SF4X 4 nanometer process node to improve performance, reduce power consumption for all of their future chips. Now, we know that Moore's Law is finally starting to slow down, but there's still tremendous value in moving all of these things to new process nodes, as we hear all across the board. And that means that competition in the foundry space is really starting to heat up. So does this mean that we should really be looking beyond TSMC and Intel into some of these other foundry companies?
Yeah, there's two aspects to this story that I think are very, very important. First, let's talk about Groq. So this is a company that is developing primarily an inferencing chip. So if you're not aware, AI has, building a machine learning based solution has many different aspects. And a lot of the time when we talk about performance, especially chip and processing performance, what we're referring to is the training aspect of it, which takes tons and tons of CPU. As it sounds, this is training. This is, basically sending your AI to college to learn all the things on the internet or whatever. Inferencing is the other face of it. That's basically going to work afterward and doing your job. That's what Groq specializes in. They make processors that accelerate inferencing. These things are used all over the place. And basically, although training gets all the attention, inferencing is where the action is, because inferencing is basically doing the thing. So if people are talking about AI-based applications, that's what Groq is trying to accelerate. Their next generation platform, which is the Groq chip, is going to be moving to this advanced process node. It's also, of course, going to have lots of other improvements in it. And Groq is saying that this thing, get this, is 3 times faster sort of on its own, and also 3 times less power, which basically means you're getting 9 times as much performance per watt as previously. Now, performance per watt matters for training chips and data center chips and cloud chips, of course, because, of course, they have massive power and cooling budgets. But it's much more important on inferencing side, because inferencing can happen all over the place, everywhere from cloud and data center all the way to the edge. And even devices now have inferencing capabilities. Well, Groq isn't probably going to be in your next cell phone, but they will be all over the place, especially in areas like edge. And that's where performance per watt really, really matters. And so this is a big step forward for them. Now, there's another part of this story. Of course, there's the Samsung aspect. So Samsung is sort of the unsung hero in chip making. Everybody talks about TSMC. Some people talk about Intel. But nobody wants to, it's Bruno over here. We don't talk about Samsung. Well, Samsung's right there. They're making a lot of investments. They're trying to keep up with the others as well, just like Intel is, frankly. And Samsung's been doing a pretty good job. Another thing that's happening in the chip market, as we've talked about on the rundown, is this move to manufacturing in places that are not called China for reasons of global politics. And Samsung is investing heavily in a US fab, and that's where this Groq chip will be made. If you go to Groq.com, you will see that one of their big pitches is USA-based supply chain. That's very important for a lot of customers, especially customers who are rolling out AI chips, because they're very concerned about international, let's just say China, messing around with the chips, which, isn't a thing that we've seen happen, but I guess they're worried about that. Also, there's sort of political and jobs-related concerns that all lead to companies wanting to have supply chains in various places. By moving to a US-based supply chain, by moving to a new process node, Groq is going to be bringing a lot of differentiators to this chip. I really think they're heading in the right direction, and I definitely expect them to basically make hay about both of these aspects going forward.